Hello, my name is Ryan Paiwanski. I'm from Shop 11. I've been in the shipyard for about 2 years now, and today I'd like to share with you my passion for the lean process, or doing things smarter, not harder. I have a few examples over my industrial career to share with you guys, and hopefully you can apply it to your job or even your everyday life, who knows. So a little background on me. I joined the Air Force right out of high school, and I was taught from day one to always question your environment. Why are we doing it this way? Why is that like that? Should it be like that? How can we do this better? Or what has failed in the past, and how can we improve upon that? Learning from history per se. And I took that mentality throughout my industrial career. So while I was in the Air Force, I was a mechanic, and we would basically just change out parts all the time or fix leaks of fuel. But one of the process improvements I was chosen for out of my shop was to fix the way that we fix aircraft and speed up the process of fixing aircraft, get them off the ground, get them where they got to go. So I have a little diagram here. Hopefully you can read it pretty well. But so here's the shop. Here's the aircraft that's sitting on the tarmac. Here's our repair shop. Here's the supply building, and here's ops, kind of like where our engineers are in the shipyard. So the usual day, right? We go from a shop to the aircraft. Try this out. Go from the shop to the aircraft. Figure out what the part needs to be fixed. Most commonly a boost pump. And we would go all the way back out the gate to the supply and figure out if we'd have to take that old part, put it right into supply, turn it in to get a new one. Problem is, sometimes they would not have a new one. So that would entail us to go to ops and figure out if we could go scrap one off a different aircraft. Say there's another aircraft here. That aircraft is not doing anything. This one's ready to go. Can we take that part off there and put it on there? Yes or no? Either way we had to do that. We'd have to go from supply back to our aircraft, fix the part, reinstall it, and then go back to our shop, log our stuff, all our things we did on the aircraft, then bring it to the repair shop, and then that would go back to supply. A lot of traveling, a lot of different steps to take. So what we came up with was, instead of having this part we had to turn into supply, why don't we just keep one that we re-repair on hand, so that we can have it in the truck, when we go to the job site. So here we go. So we got the part on hand, we go to the aircraft, oh look at that, we got the part, we fixed it. Now we just go straight back to our repair shop, repair it, turn it in to get a new one. And we have a new one for the truck. And that's it. No going back and forth, no no ridiculous amount of steps to get things done. Salvaging another aircraft, we're going to have to create more work later, which I know some people are a fan of, but personally not so much. So that was my first process improvement I was a part of. It saved the Air Force about $300,000 annually. Yeah, we didn't really get too much credit for it or like any kind of awards and like that. We did get a maintenance excellence award as a squadron for it. But as far as this redhead stepchild fuel cell, not so much. So the next place I worked with industrial maintenance was Metagenics. I was part of their lean process improvement. So they had basically a place where they would mix the stuff they needed to make their nutraceuticals for. Then you'd go into a blend, and then it would go to either tableting or go into another process line. So the problem was, it was taking too long or taking too much rack space to store all the mixed or pre-weighed materials. So, for example, we'll just put A, B, and C on this board. But start out mixing or basically weighing all the materials out. They get all weighed, they'd be put on the rack, and then they would put into the blender, and then they would be put back on the rack. Then they would go to either a tableting or they go to some kind of process line. So what Metagenics did was they tried to streamline it. So basically they cut out the middleman here, and they made you weigh it in the same room as the blender. You would weigh it and blend it at the same time. It wouldn't go to the rack. After it was done there, then it would go to a rack, or it would be on a different scheduling to where it would go immediately into the processing. That was a huge jump for them. They got to, instead of building a whole nother warehouse, they got to literally cut down the amount of racks they even needed. So it was a huge improvement. Now you can apply this to your life, your job, in any way, shape, or form by just thinking about what you do. Like say you go to a job site for what we do. You go to a job site, think about what you're going to bring to go there, right? So like I'm removing bolts. Well, obviously I'm going to need a wrench to remove those bolts, but what if the bolt's seized? Okay, I'm going to need some coil. Or who knows, maybe I'm trying to, like make sure I'm going to install bolts, right? Remove and install bolts. Okay, well I'm just using the same things. I'm going to need a wrench, I'm going to need some coil in case it gets stuck. Well, I'm going to need a tap too, and then also I'm going to need to install those bolts underneath P37. Now some of you guys are like, don't understand what I'm actually talking about right now. Job 11 guys do. But the point is the same, is think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and try to get ahead of those problems you're going to have. And then take a whole process that you do all the time and break it down to the point where you can simplify it and cut out steps. Because deep down, do we really want to keep doing this and hurting ourselves, or going like taking twice as long to do the same job that take another guy same amount, half the time? I don't think so much. But anyway, that's my couple examples I had and processes that I was a part of, and hopefully it helped you a little bit. Thanks.